Hello, welcome to our series, Jack's Curated Business Ideas. This is Jack Lookman. Today's theme is Profit Sharing Formula App. Profit Sharing Formula App. I've done a few content on the subject in the past, and this is therefore an enhancement. We also intend to have it in text, that's on paperback and hopefully as an ebook as well. Please check our various platforms for more information or do a Google search for Jack Lookman Profit Sharing Formula. We hope that you enjoyed the presentation and that, as usual, it will stimulate other creative thoughts in you. Don't forget to articulate your thoughts, as this could come in handy sooner or later. The transcript of this presentation could be found at jacksempowerment.com. Just do a search for Jack's Curated Business Ideas. What is the idea? It's all about an app, one that fairly shares profit and loss with entrepreneurial or business stakeholders. The proposed process is more of a science than an art. It is fair and transparent. It quantifies inputs such as effort, money, time, etc., and prorates this cumulatively when sharing profit or loss. It's presumably a novel idea. It's expected to add great value to the entrepreneurial space. What's the inspiration for the idea? The idea has been on my mind for a while. I guess it came about during my research on getting funding and involving investors. Also, from watching entrepreneurial programs like Dragon's Den, as well as during my entrepreneurial pursuits. The process of sharing profits was apparently more in favor of the investor. This is indeed for obvious reasons, and the process appeared more like an art than a science. However, in my opinion, there could be a better way. As an analytical mind, I thought of doing things differently, and this birthed the idea. Some requirements for creating the app. You need to have the technical specifications or brief for the app developer. You need to have an app developer, unless, of course, you could do it yourself. You need finance. You need to test the product. You need to continually upgrade the product. You need a platform for purposes of marketing and sales. You need to have a business plan to guide your activities. You need to have a monetization plan. You may require a team as necessary. This could be part-time or full-time. They could be permanent staff or temporary staff. They could actually be freelancers. You also need to register your business, etc. What are the benefits of the app? It's a different way of doing business collaborations. It's fair and transparent. It adds value great value to concerned parties. It promotes accountability. It empowers entrepreneurs. It adds value to the entrepreneurial space. It could create opportunities. It could also create jobs and could create wealth. Here are some possible threats to creating a profit sharing formula app. There could be trust issues. There could be abuse of process. There could be technical issues. There could be conflict between concerned parties. If due diligence isn't carried out, there could be problems. There could be external factors. There could be abandonment by either or all of the parties concerned. There could be insufficient funds. There could be business loss, that is, no profit. There could be illness or death. There could be non-performance of the entrepreneur. There could be intellectual theft. There could be copycats, and there could be competition. Who needs the profit sharing formula app? Well, entrepreneurs, investors, small scale businesses, and collaborators. What are the opportunities for collaboration? If you wish to collaborate on this or other projects, please contact Jack Lookman via jacklookman@yahoo.co.uk. Use a suitable heading and a short narrative. How does the profit sharing formula app work? The entrepreneur does or project manages the work. It shall have an agreed hourly rate. The same hourly rate shall be applicable to investors. This shall be modified as necessary and as mutually agreed. The work he does shall be timed. The app shall have a timer or clock. His time or effort shall be quantified in currency of choice and agreement. For example, pounds, dollars, naira, etc. If he outsources work to freelancers, he shall be paid for supervision and project management. Realistic budgets would have been agreed in advance. So will the deliverables. Financial inputs by investors shall be accumulated, just like those of the entrepreneur's efforts and investment. At any point in time, whether monthly, quarterly, annually, etc., when it's time for profit sharing, this shall be computed by prorating the individual's cumulated contributions. For example, if it's agreed to share profits every 6 months, if the investor's cumulative input is £3,000 and that of the entrepreneur is £2,000, total cumulative is then £5,000. If the profit to be shared is £1,000, the investor gets 3/5 times 1,000, and that's £600, whereas the entrepreneur gets £400. As the collaboration journey continues, if the investor adds £500 and the input of the entrepreneur is £1,000, and if the new profit is £2,000, the cumulative becomes 3,500 for the investor and £3,000 for the entrepreneur. The total stake becomes £6,500. By sharing £2,000, the investor gets 3.5 over 6.5 times £2,000, and that's about £1,077, whereas the entrepreneur gets 3 out of 6.5 times £2,000, and that's about £923, and so on. The profit sharing formula app computes all the figures based on inputs. Please see the demonstration table later in this video. Now you may ask, Jack Lookman, have you done a video previously? Well, the answer is yes. There's some historical content on the subject. These are available on YouTube as well as jacksempowerment.com. This effort is intended to add greater depth to the content. Now, what's the monetization plan for the profit sharing formula app? Well, you could monetize through product sales, digital adverts, affiliate marketing, licensing, private label rights, sale of intellectual rights, etc. What's the marketing plan? You could explore different digital platforms, leverage different digital marketers, leverage your network, leverage traditional marketing, leverage affiliate marketing, leverage social media marketing, and also influencer marketing, etc. Could a passive income be made? Well, if you get it right, it could generate passive income for a long while. The product promises to be evergreen. You could also enjoy a monopoly. The only added required effort shall be maintenance of the product as necessary and marketing. The marketing could actually be semi-automated. Is it for businesses or projects? Well, you could use the app for either or both. You could use it for multiple collaborations as well. What data needs to be inputted? Contact details, name of project or business as necessary, start and end time of each project management activity, hourly rate of project manager / entrepreneur, relevant narratives or notes in brief, notes with relevant third parties, notes with investors, cost elements, targets, progress reports, profit sharing formula, monetary inflows, monetary outflows, percentage of profits to be shared, other relevant documentation, etc. What's the output data? Well, monetary inflows, that's either the total and the individual ones, monetary outflows, total and individuals as well, monetary quantification of project managers' efforts, profit or loss, cumulative monetary figures, profit share to each stakeholder, profit share to each stakeholder for X% of profit. For example, X could be an agreed percentage and could be variable. time spent on activities, money to freelancers, etc. Is this effective stakeholder management? Yes, indeed. Fair, transparent, semi automated, and effective stakeholder management. Who are the target audience? Entrepreneurs, project managers, investors, collaborators, and it could be used globally in all parts of the world. Could collaborations be done digitally? Yes, they could. As long as you have relevant equipment, resources, and the right mindset. And of course, you need to put checks and balances in place. Digital devices, internet connection, etc., are very essential. About Jack Lookman. Let's pause to learn a bit about Jack Lookman. He's from an engineering background and has varied paid and unpaid work experiences. He's currently a content creator, multiple author, affiliate marketer, mentor, entrepreneur, and collaborator. Now let's go back to our presentation. What are the price plans for the profit sharing formula app? There could be different price plans. There could be monthly payments, quarterly payments, annual payments, outright purchase. It could be a license, etc. How could the app be accessed? It could be purchased from the iOS App Store or Google Play or suitable others. Could the app be synchronized? Yes, it could, with relevant other software or apps as necessary. On what gadgets could the app be used? It could be used on smartphones, digital tablets, laptops, computers. Is the app suitable for small or big businesses? The app is more suited to small businesses, up and coming businesses. It's more like stakeholder management on a smaller scale. How could I build the app? You could either build it yourself or outsource it to a third party, such as an app developer. You could articulate your requirements in great detail. You could also collaborate with suitable others. Here's a small disclaimer. This is basically an idea. It needs to be perfected and refined. There is no guarantee of financial success. Carry out your due diligence to improve your chances of financial success. Some legalities to consider: terms and conditions, disclaimer, indemnification, contracts between concerned parties, general data protection regulation for those in Europe, intellectual rights protection, etc. Possible opportunities from the profit sharing formula app. Well, there are opportunities like wealth creation, job creation, more entrepreneurial pursuits, fairer society, reduced crime, etc. What problem is being solved? Having a fairer profit share between investors and entrepreneurs. Having an accountable and transparent process. having a more efficient sharing process, process automation, empowerment of entrepreneurs, encouragement of entrepreneurial practices. Who will fund the project? You could explore crowdfunding, investors, bank loan, etc. How could risks be managed? Underlisted are some risks and mitigations or possible mitigations. Some of the risks are data loss, data compromise, technical issues, trust, fraud, litigation, abuse of process, external factors, etc. Some suggested mitigations are insurance, constantly updated policies and procedures, data backup, antivirus installation, indemnification, prosecution of offenders, terms and conditions, and adequate legalities to protect parties concerned. How could the profit sharing formula app be monetized? Well, you could monetize it through product sales, mailing list, affiliate marketing, adverts on your platform, license. You can sell the license to users or organizations or entrepreneurs, sale of intellectual rights. Some costing thoughts. Some factors for consideration are time, effort, outsourcing, resources used, freelancers, human resources, equipment used, rent, energy costs, etc. For pricing, some considerations are costs, profit, competition, the value on offer, affordability, etc. Resources required for the profit sharing formula app. Well, some of the resources are time, money, skills, freelancers, brainstorming, effort, etc. Now, could you share your thoughts? What are your thoughts? Is it a good idea, the profit sharing formula app? What could be done better? What are your suggestions? Will you like to collaborate? Does the product interest you? Please contact Jack Lookman as necessary via jacklookman@yahoo.co.uk. Now, price plans. Payment options could be monthly, quarterly, annually, one-off, or it could be a license, a continual license. There could also be a free plan. This shall, however, be packed with lots of adverts. Some research considerations: market research, product research, competitor research, human resource research, etc. Now let's talk about return on investment. Here are some thoughts to ponder. What's the expected investment? How soon could it be recouped? Investments shall be in time, money, skills, and effort. The project manager inputs time, effort, and expertise, and maybe money. The investor inputs money and time, especially for meetings, and maybe social capital and experience. All inputs shall be quantified in monetary currency. The major resources shall be spent initially, and returns could be made over the years with little major efforts. Some business plan considerations: name of business, business registration, business requirements, business model, financial forecast, budget, resources required, return on investment, projected break-even period, costing, pricing, type of product, competitor research, market research, product research, etc. Technical specification thoughts. Think about memory capacity, about the job it needs to do. It shall be user-friendly. Multiple computations shall be done regularly, and that is actually globally as well. Choice of programming language, requesting the source code upfront from the app developer, requesting detailed documentation upfront, synchronization with other software, adaptations to different gadgets, adaptations to different computer languages, etc. How will the app be created? You could learn how to create the app via online or offline tuition, or you could outsource it, that's the creation of the app, to app developers. You could leverage freelancers on online platforms or suitable others. Tell them your requirements, agree on terms. Make sure that you request the source code and detailed documentation upfront. This will be useful for follow-up and app management. Get relevant training documents. This could be in video, text, or both. Request a period of grace after completion for technical support. This could usually be about 1 to 3 months in case of any hiccups, and then take any other relevant actions. Collaboration opportunities with Jack Lookman. Well, we offer collaborative services. If interested, please contact jacklookman@yahoo.co.uk. Please use an appropriate subject heading and a short narrative. Some suggested functionalities for the app. It will process the input data. It will present output data. It shall have a search button. It shall have a share button. It shall have a timer and clock. It shall have your time. In addition to your time, you could input narratives of work done. You could include targets. It shall have reminders. It shall have prompts. It shall have a calendar. It shall have an opt-in box, etc. Demonstration tables. Let me walk you through a demonstration, a presumed case study. Please be informed it contains a bit of number crunching. And sorry, I've not included any graphs. So let's look at the demonstration tables. Let's look at snapshot 1. Now, in the first column, you have the investors. Sorry, the yes, the investors. The hourly rate, like I said earlier, the hourly rate for the investor and the entrepreneur is the same. So you can see in for the number of hours, first and foremost, the hourly rate is initially £40, then it went up to £45, and then to £50. And the hourly rate is the same for both the investor and the entrepreneur. Now, the number of hours used, and now you can see that for the investor, for each quarter, he spends about 3 hours, and that comes to about 1 hour per month. And the 1 hour is presumably for meetings. You might have meetings with the entrepreneur so that they can catch up and exchange ideas and brainstorm. So for the investor, his number of hours that he spends per quarter is about 3 hours. That comes to about 1 hour a month. For the entrepreneur, he spends, his time is varied. There's the 3 hours which he spends per quarter, but because he's doing more of the hands-on stuff, he spends more hours. So you can see that he spends 20 hours per quarter sometimes, 25, 30, 40, etc. So depending on the need and his availability, he can spend more or less time. Now let's look at the deferred investment. Basically, this is the multiplication of the hourly rate with the number of hours spent. For the investor, he spends 3 hours, and the initial hourly rate was £40. So for the second quarter of year 2021, his deferred investment was about £120, which is three hours times £40. So that's £120. So that's the same for quarter 2 and quarter 3 and quarter 4 for 2021, year 2021. In quarter for year 2022, they must have agreed that the hourly rate will increase to £45, and the investor spends about 3 hours. So for each quarter, his deferred investment is 3 hours times £45, and that comes to about £135 for each quarter in 2022. For the first quarter in 2023, the hourly rate changed to £50, maybe due to investment, cost of living, etc. So the hourly rate for both of them changed to £50. So for quarter 1, excuse me. For quarter 1 in 2023, the investor spends 3 hours, and the hourly rate is £50. So the total deferred investment is £150. Now you can do the computations for the entrepreneur as well. The major difference is that the number of hours spent by the entrepreneur is much more. So you can see the hours spent per quarter, 20 hours, 25 hours, and so on. And then you can do the computation for quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4 in 2021, also for quarter 1 to 4 in 2022, and for quarter 1 in 2023. Now, the financial investment. Now, the deferred investments we calculated was based on the effort or the time they spent on the business or the project. Now, in terms of putting money down, the investment, now you can see that for the investments, the investor put in about £500 initially. That was in quarter 2 of 2021. Then in quarter 3, he put in £250. In quarter 4, he put in £100. In quarter 1 of 2022, he put in £150, and so on and so forth. So the total amount he put in from quarter 2 in 2021 to quarter 1 in 2023, the total amount he put in was $1450, as in raw cash into the business. And if you look at the deferred investment from the time he spent, that was about £1,050. So that is the total amount, which is the gross investment per quarter. For example, for the investor, the deferred amount was £120 for quarter 2 in 2021, and then his physical investment was £500. So the gross investment for quarter 2 in 2021 is £620, and then the rest of them are computed. So in all, from the time spent, the deferred investment was £1,050 for the investor. The physical cash he put in between 2021 and 2023, the physical cash he put in was £1,450. And then the gross, which is the summation of both, is about £2,500. That is £1,050 plus £1,450. Now for the entrepreneur or project manager, he put in little bits of money as physical investments. So he put in £25, £30, £20, £15, etc. So his total financial investment was £165. But in terms of the effort he put in, when this is quantified, you can see under the deferred investment, he put in that totaled up to about £14,375. So the gross investment for the quarter by the entrepreneur came to about £14,540. So you can see here, for example, that although the investor put in about £1,450 in raw cash, and the entrepreneur put in only about £165 in raw cash, the gross amount, when you quantify the effort, the gross amount for the entrepreneur is about £14,540, and the gross amount for the investor was £2,500. So if an investor tells you that because he's putting down X amount of money, he wants to get 50%, you can see that when you compute some of the figures, it doesn't add up. So in the traditional sense, the investor usually is more favored. But in the real sense, in a scientific way, you can see from this tabular calculation that the investor has actually put in almost 4 or 5 times what the investor has put in. Now let's look at snapshot 2. Now this is a follow-on from snapshot 1. Now the additional thing here is the cumulative investment per quarter. You can see that in the last column. Now, in quarter 2 of 2021, the cumulative amount put in by the investor was £620, because he did, from his time, he put in £120. That's from the 1 hour per month he invested, and then the investment was £500. So the cumulative for that second quarter of 2021 is £620. You can see that in the last column. I think that's column I. Now in quarter three of 2021, the total investment, the gross investment by the investor for quarter three was £370. So the cumulative, when you add that to what he had already contributed, that would be £620 plus £370, and that comes to £990. Then in quarter four of 2021, the gross investment for that quarter was £220. So the gross will be £990 plus £220, and that will come to £1,210. So that is how you get the cumulative figures, and it adds up in total to £2,500 at the end of quarter one of 2023. Now let's look at the entrepreneur. In quarter two, his gross investment was £825. So the cumulative investment for that quarter was £825. For the third quarter of 2021, his gross investment was £1,030. So the cumulative will be £825 plus £1,030, and that's £1,855. And in quarter four of 2021, his gross investment was £1,220. So the cumulative becomes £1,855 plus £1,220, and that comes to £3,075, and so on and so forth. And that comes to a gross of $14,540. Now, the purpose of the cumulative investment is, for example, if you decided you wanted to share profits, for example, at the end of quarter four in 2021, if you wanted to share profit based on those figures, the cumulative for the investor was £1,210, and that of the entrepreneur was $3,075. So if you needed to share profit in quarter four based on those figures, those are the figures you use to prorate the amount that each investor or entrepreneur will get. Now let's look at the third and final table. This information is got from the previous tables. Now you have in the first column the quarter, that's the quarter of the year. So for example, in quarter two of 2021, you have those figures, and quarter three, quarter four, etc. Now, like I said, I've got those figures from the previous snapshots. Now, what is of more importance is the cumulative investment. Now, for the investor in quarter two, the cumulative investment was £620. For the entrepreneur, it was £825. The total cumulative investment from both of them is £1,445. Now, if you decide to share £800, if you decide to share £800 as profit, that means assuming you got profit in that quarter two of 2021, assuming the profit to be shared was £800, the investor will get £343.25, and the entrepreneur will get £456.75. Now, the way that is calculated, for example, the cumulative of the investor was 620 out of 1445, and the one for the entrepreneur was 825. So if you do that as a ratio, you get the investor getting a profit of 343 and the entrepreneur getting 456. And the ratio of the profit, the percentage of the profit for the investor, it should be 42.9%, and the entrepreneur gets about 57.1%. So we continued calculating using the same formula for the other figures. The calculation is on the first line, how I calculated it. So, for example, at the end of quarter one in 2023, the cumulative investment by the investor was 2,500. You can see that in the pink in column C. And the total cumulative investment by the entrepreneur was 14,540. And the total cumulative investment from both parties, the investor and the entrepreneur, was about 17,040. Now, if, for example, you had to share, maybe you made a profit about 20,000 or whatever, maybe 20 or 25,000, but you decide to share only 11,000, then the profits if the profit to be shared at the end of 2023 was 11,000, and that's maybe you made a total profit about 20,000 or 25,000, and you both decided you only wanted to share 11,000. For quarter one of 2023, the investor gets 1,613.85, and the entrepreneur gets about 9,386. And you can see the respective percentages of what they get. So in all, for the total, since the inception of the business, the total amount of profits to be shared from the inception, that's from quarter two in 2021 up to quarter one in 2023, the total profits that was shared was about £59,500, and out of that, the investor would have got £12,475.89, and the entrepreneur would have got £47,024.11. And bear in mind, the investment by the investor, the cumulative investment was just about 2,500, and that of the entrepreneur was about 14,540. That's by the time you quantify his efforts and the money that he invested. And the total cumulative investment would have been £17,040. So that's just a real rough snapshot of how the profit sharing formula will work. It does all the computations. So for all intents and purposes, you put in the raw figures and it generates a report for you, maybe how much each person will get per quarter, etc., and or whatever figures you want, it will generate that for you. So that's a small snapshot of how the profit sharing formula app works. It's not perfect, it's an idea, but I'm sure you get the drift of what I'm trying to say. So, like I said, the app is suited to, is the app suited to project managers? Yeah, very much so. The project manager shall quantify his time in supervision and solo activities. So, for example, there are some tasks which the project manager may decide to outsource, maybe to freelancers, and he gets different freelancers to bid. He articulates what is required, and the different freelancers will bid, and he chooses one of the freelancers, and he pays them and manages the process. So he shall get freelancers to bid for necessary other jobs. Excuse me. Those are jobs which the project manager might not be able to do himself, either due to time constraints or other factors. But he shall oversee the work and make payments as necessary to the freelancers. So basically, he's just doing project management. He articulates what needs to be done, and then he supervises the project, and he gets the deliverables, he pays off these freelancers, and continues the journey. Now, what skills are required for the profit sharing formula app users? Some of these skills will be very beneficial: project management skills, costing, legal, pricing, interpersonal, negotiation, administrative, project specific skills, finance, fundraising, time management, resource management, result orientation, budgeting, accounting, legal, etc. Now, you've heard me mention project manager so many times. Who is this project manager? Now, as far as the project or the business is concerned, he is the chief executive officer or chief operations officer or the entrepreneur. He executes the project or business while the investor finances it. The project manager isn't paid for his services. Instead, he gets a profit share based on the business's success. He could therefore do the job as a side hustle. So, yes, the investor puts down money, but the project manager is not actually paid for his services. He's actually paid based on the profits they make. So it's from the profits that he gets paid. Now, could there be reinvestments from stakeholders? That is investors, project manager, etc. The answer is yes, whenever there is need for it. The reinvestments may come from investors, from the project manager, or from suitable others. Could the project manager end up as a major stakeholder? Yes, it could end up the major shareholder, even though it started as a minor financial shareholder. By the time his efforts accumulate, it could end up as the major stakeholder. You must have seen that in the table we did some minutes ago. It could also invest cash or recycle its dividends as necessary. However, if the project or business is successful, the return on investment for all parties could be high and even limitless. Therefore, it could end up with a win-win situation for all. What does the project manager bring on board? Well, he brings up the business idea or concept, he executes it and may contribute financially as well. He also spends time, effort, and expertise in project managing the project or the business. And he could also invest financially, like you will have seen in the table which I showed you earlier. Now, for more resources from Jack Lookman, please check the underlisted platforms: jacksempowerment.com, jacklookman.co.uk, jalu.com. You can check on YouTube by searching for Jack Lookman. You could also check on YouTube by searching for business ideas, etc. And that's also by Jack Lookman. You can check on Facebook, search for Jack Lookman. Also on Facebook, you can search for business ideas, etc. Also by Jack Lookman. You can check for some of our ebooks on seller.co. Also search for Jack Lookman. By the way, Seller is SELAR, seller.co. Search for Jack Lookman. You can also check for our paperbacks and some of our ebooks on amazon.co.uk. Again, search for Jack Lookman. And generally, you can search for Jack Lookman on the internet. In conclusion, we hope that you got value from this presentation. It aims to add value to the entrepreneurial space. It aims to make the profit-sharing activity fair, efficient, transparent, and accountable. It aims to empower entrepreneurs, especially the up-and-coming ones. It aims to marry entrepreneurship with technology. The idea is apparently novel and may require perfection. But that's it. With this presentation, Jack's Curated Business Ideas, this is Olayinka Carew, aka Jack Lookman, signing off. Ireo, Irekabiti.